Hello, excuse me, and welcome back to episode 7 of Pine Stars. We are here on Pine Stars to catch you up on recent activities with the University of Indianapolis baseball team, um, catch up with some old Greyhounds, and just shoot the shit in general. So, I will start off by introducing myself. My name is Brad Bates. I'm one of the co-hosts of Pine Stars. Brian, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, his sidekick on this endeavor, Brian Remke, and our guest tonight, the Kurt.
Just
The
happy
one
to
and
be here,
only.
guys. Thanks for the invite.
The one and only.
I didn't know
There he
whether to
is.
dress up or dress down, so I wore a tuxedo shirt. Figured I couldn't go wrong.
Class act.
We expected nothing less from you. I will say you've trimmed it down, but you do have one of the I'm envious of your beard. You've got a strong beard. And right now you look like you got a pretty strong mustache there. Have you ever just gone solo mustache?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a little mustache. It stays dark. The rest of it
Yeah,
gets gray from the kids, wife.
I I can completely understand some of that. But anyway, getting back to baseball, it was a bit of a rough weekend for the Hounds. Jury came into town and took 3 out of 4 from the Greyhounds. Played a couple close games, Remke. I think it was fairly tight for a couple games, but ultimately came up on the short end.
Yeah, really first, third, and fourth game of the series, they were close. Game two is one we're not really good to talk about, but getting the win to get out of there, and
What
then that
happened in
propelled them
game
into
two? Don't tease us. What happened in game two?
game two. I sometimes you just take a game off, you catch your breath, I think. Um, it was 8-1. Did not really get the bats going. Clean fielding, no errors in the game, but yeah, it was a bit of a struggle for own the plate, 4 hits hit batsman though. And I don't mind sending that message. Um, so,
Send the
we're
messages.
comfortable with that.
Stop kicking my ass.
Yeah, I think it might have had something to do with the 4 hits batters and 5 walks. So getting nine free passes is not helping, but it was a rough game. They came off game one was tough. Game two, we're gonna move on from. Game three again was a close one and finally got the win in game four. So not the series they were looking for, but then again, they played midweek and had a nice bounce back midweek. So got themselves on a little bit of a 3-game streak now.
3 game streak reminds me. Can Kurt, can you tell us about the time that you locked Nick Nell in his bathroom in our hotel?
Might have been one of the best stories that ever happened in a UND uniform. We were in regionals in Pure. No, we were in Erie to go to the
Oh
World
yeah,
Series my freshman year. Your
yeah.
senior year, right?
One of them, one of those senior
Well, a lot
years.
of rain. We had a lot of rain delays. We thought it might be canceled, and they're going to take the 1 seed Ashland. Right? We were the 4 seed, so we had a lot of
That's
downtime on our hands. So as college kids, when you have downtime, what do? You usually fuck around. Well, Nick now was my roommate. He ended up going to the bathroom. I took the mattress off the bed. The door opens outward. I put the mattress between the bed and the door. The little fucker couldn't get out. So I left him in there for about an hour. And his girlfriend called, gave him the phone through the door. That really irritated the little fella. Well, if you know Nick Nell, he had a temper, right? So I
You
leave the
gave him the
room.
phone through the door.
I hear a big crash. I run back in the room. Nick Nell has suspended himself with his feet behind the toilet on the wall, pushing the door open with his hands, but it's not going anywhere because there's a mattress. His hands go through the door. The hotel door goes through it. I'm freaking out. I move the mattress out of the door so he comes out, and he came out like a fucking honey badger. Guy was angry. It's like a hornet's nest opened up. He comes out and he throws a strong right hook for a Nick Nell. It hit me. I really didn't feel it because it was Nick Nell.
Did he hit you in the leg?
Anyway, I calmed him down. Not but 2 minutes later, maintenance guy comes rolling through our door, heard a loud boom. That door ended up costing us $500. I won about 350 that night in cards and was able to pay it. Somehow, some way, I didn't get sent home on the very next bus ride home. On the next Greyhound bus out of Erie, Pennsylvania.
Oh man.
So,
God, I love that story. That's
I'm having to a better guy. Love Nick.
Oh God. I just remember hearing him pounding on that bathroom door and being like, oh, that shit's gonna break here in a minute. That is not gonna hold up.
So, and I got to give some credit to
Well,
Casey Jones as well. He was in on it.
Oh, Casey.
Casey Jones.
Casey Jones hit one. Remember in BP at Erie whenever the Mercyhurst coach made his pitching staff leave after watching us take BP, and Casey Jones hit one on top of that basketball stadium that was behind the baseball field.
It was one of the greatest BP performances ever. He
was
would bat all year long, and then you put aluminum in our hands, and it was like a light show.
Yeah. I hit one off the wall.
Yeah. Bates even put one. He hit it off the wall. Didn't go over the wall.
I did.
Wall, so he never really put one out.
I think Abercrombie caught it at the wall and threw it over for me. I think that's what he did.
You gave it a ride.
I did. So, okay. Thinking about they played midweek. They had Purdue Northwest. I think it was at Purdue Northwest.
Yeah.
Which is in where?
Hold on. Yeah. Hammond.
In the region.
Hammond, Indiana.
Hammond, Indiana, home of former UNI Greyhound Jeremy Hacker, former teammate of ours. So the shout out to Jeremy and his family. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but we're going to keep moving.
Great guy.
Yeah. So next weekend,
I got a hacker story if you ever want it. Just let me know.
Do you have a hacker story?
You want it?
Yeah, I do want it because he's like in like 4 stories that I know of, but he's a pivotal role in all of them.
So, Jeremy Hacker, probably one of the smartest guys ever play on a UNI baseball team.
Yeah.
I mean, guy was a genius, right? Anesthesiologist, right? Smart guy.
Yep.
We're rolling home from the bar one night, Saturday night. We go to Denny's about 4:00 in the morning. Who do we see sitting at Denny's studying, reading molecular biology books? Jeremy Hacker.
Oh my God.
While the rest of us, degenerates, are drunk, waiting to get a grand slam at Denny's, Jeremy Hacker's at 4:00 in the morning studying while we're just eliminating brain cells.
Yeah. That's the tale of those teams. Was like there was those guys that were just diehard, that never did anything, studied all the time and whatnot. And then there was the rest of us. But that's kind of why it's probably partially why we are Pine Stars, is because of our decisions made off the field, right?
I enjoyed those decisions.
I wouldn't trade them. I wouldn't trade them.
Nope.
My frame wasn't built for MLB. Let's be honest. Regardless, it wouldn't have mattered how good.
You know what? If I wasn't a Pine Star, I wouldn't be here right now. I'm glad I
that's exactly right. All right, so they go to Purdue Northwest and they kind of put a thumping on them, right?
Game 2 was a thumping. Game 1 was a little tight. Went into 8 and won 9-7 on that one. So yeah, scored 3 in the 8th. End up winning 9-7 with let's see who we got. Yeah, our buddy. The Honey Badger came in and got the W.
Did you see
closing out
that
the game for
the Honey Badger got his first career college at bat? So
Oh,
Vestal, the
oh,
closer, Kurt,
yeah.
goes in. So he goes in like early, must have been early relief, and they left him in to they needed him, for the next inning or whatever, and his position in the order came up. So first ever college career at bat, sack bunt, got the job done.
Do you do what you have to do in
And,
those situations? Good for him. It's a
and he
team play
scored a
right there.
run.
Did
Scored a
he really?
run.
Good
Yeah.
boy, Honey Badger.
Wait,
You
how
think
did he score a run if it was a sack bunt? I mean, he got
Yeah.
an RBI. Or did he score the run?
No, I'm going off of the box score, and under the column with the letter R at the top, there's a one. So you
Oh,
see the leap I took.
Oh, I wonder if they threw the ball away, maybe, and he ended up being on base. Would that still be a sack bunt? I don't know. We could check the rules. Have
yeah,
Probably
Scotty.
sack
give him
bunt.
a
Have
Yeah,
sack button in there. Yeah.
Hey,
sack
yeah.
bunt with an
Get
error.
get Scotty on that, would you? Can you?
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. He's checking. He'll
Okay.
get back to us.
Okay. So we're looking at this week. They've got, like you said, coming off, got a 3-game winning streak headed into this weekend. They've got another conference series right now. They're 23-18. They are 14-9 in the conference. They're still in fourth place, even though Drury took 3 out of 4. They're still a game up, I think, on them, or maybe half a game up on them in the conference in fourth place. So they still got a really good
Hmm.
shot at the postseason, and controlling their own destiny. They got 2 weekend series left. One coming up this weekend. I think, is this weekend at home, or is it at? It's at Billy
Um,
Jewell in Liberty, Missouri.
yep. At Bill Jewell. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So they're at Billy Jewell this weekend for 4, and then the last final weekend of the conference schedule, they play Lewis. Is that at home?
Yeah. Lewis is at home to finish up.
Okay. So that could be a very big obviously 2 big weekends coming up, but that last weekend of the season against Lewis, who's top of the standings in the GLVC and probably close to, if not the top of the standings in the region.
Well, yeah. And did you see the region rankings came out today?
No, I didn't.
Yep. So they're coming in at 9 in the poll. UND is.
And 8 get in.
Yeah, 8 get in. So in order, Ashland, Davenport, Drury, Grand Valley, Illinois Springfield, Lewis, Northwood, Saginaw Valley, then UND.
Illinois
So you got to
Springfield went
think,
off after
yeah.
UND took 3 out of 4. They won like
Hmm.
13, 14, 15 in a row. It's crazy.
That's what we do. We inspire people.
We do. Speaking of inspirations,
Well, that
Kurt, go ahead. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Brian.
Springfield was the one that canceled the game on Sunday. It like didn't even show up. So it must have been a rest day. I think
Oh,
that rest day is really what propelled their season.
it must have. Get a 3-game thumping and take a rest day and then rip off 15 in a row.
Yeah,
Um,
no, they
so
yeah.
well, you're talking about inspiration. You're talking about, kind of getting games canceled out. Uh, Kurt, there's a rumor about a game with a team south of the border down in Kentucky. Maybe it was Kentucky State, and you and another guy on the team maybe partaking in some sabotage of trying to get a rain out.
We did, and it's not a rumor. This is factual. Sophomore year, we're playing Kentucky State during March Madness, actually. So you can
Okay.
imagine weather was awful. It was
Yep.
probably 37, sleeting. Right, midweek game. Nobody wanted to be there. Kentucky
Uh,
State for sure the hell didn't want to be there. We knew that.
yeah.
So the night before, my dorm room overlooks the field, and my roommate Aaron Porter at the time, I said, "Hey, let's go rain out the game." He goes, "How are we going to rain out the game?" I said, "Just come with me." So we hopped the fence about midnight, take the hose out to the pitcher's mound, and turn it on, and just
Like the
let it run
big
all night.
fire hose, the fielding hose.
Whatever the hose was we used, right?
Yeah.
I put it on the mound and we turned it on, just let it run all night, right? I'm thinking there's no way in hell we're going to be able to play tomorrow. right?
The earth will be flat. It'll all be
It'll be
washed
a
away.
soggy mess and
Yeah.
everything, right?
Yeah.
Sure enough, I show up the next day when we're supposed to show up. Game's on. Field, like the mound is in perfect shape. I don't know who went out there first thing in the morning, but they had plenty of time to get this field prepared for the noon game we had.
Oh,
And I
shit.
thought I was going to do everybody a favor by rain out the game against Kentucky State. The year we went 51-15 because nobody wanted to play.
No,
That
that was
damn-
the year before because my freshman year was the 51 win year, and we never played Kentucky State.
Oh, that
That would
must
have
have
been
been
the
my
World
freshman.
Series year. Yeah,
Well,
that
yeah,
seems more like
I,
freshman Kurt.
I think that's right because I think what happened is that game, I think the mound was frozen, was probably what happened because that's how fucking cold it was when we were playing them. And then
Oh,
there
it
was
was
like
bad.
in between games, that was when we went into the fitness center and watched part of the basketball games on, remember the security guy's little 13-inch TV, not even 13,
Yeah.
like 8-inch TV. We'd sit there and watch some of that game
Yeah.
with Kentucky State guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So, needless to say, I tried to sabotage it. Didn't work.
Failed sabotage.
Makes for a good story.
It does.
It is what
It
it
does
is.
make for a good story. Um,
What was the mistake? You think you should have taken out home plate?
I probably should have brought a fucking pickaxe. Dug up the mound completely.
Just taking it
oh,
home.
Just, yeah. I mean,
yeah. So, looking at William Jewell this weekend, what do we know about them, Rimke? Where they sit? I think they're fair. They're down in the conference. They're not world beaters by any means.
Bill Jewell is yeah, they're bottom half. They're 11-13, 20-22 overall. Um, so oh, honestly, we're not real worried about Bill. I think this is one where we just go in there and just kind of just let it flop, just lay it out.
they're kind of like cubic zirconia, right? Like they say they're a jewel, but they're really kind of a knockoff, right? Don't want to take them easy, but
What are they? CZs? Is that what they call them?
yeah,
CZs?
LCC, the fake
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they got swept. They got swept by McKendree over the weekend.
Well, let's process this real quick. So I see where the Kurt went there, but let's think about Jewel. I mean, obviously there's no dental program at this university because her teeth. I mean, I get it. She lived in a car in Alaska for a long time, but those teeth, come on. They definitely don't have a dental program at William Jewell. What were you saying? Sorry, where are they? 20-22 overall.
Yeah. Yeah, they got swept by McKendree, and then the week before they swept Lincoln, who Lincoln is, I think, getting ready to square off with one of those New York teams. And we talked to like Yeshiva and whoever the one that broke the streaks.
Yeshiva and Layman.
Lincoln's trying to get in that game.
Are they? What are they at?
They're 2-22 in the conference.
Ooh.
4-36 on the year.
Ooh.
That hurts. That hurts. All right. So let's start getting into our picks to click for this week. Let's start talking about who we need to start just going off, get, this 3-game winning streak into a 5-game winning streak. And I'm not saying that I don't want them to win all 4, but ripping off 5 or 6 in a row would be really, really good this time of year.
Yep. Yeah, so we were kind of looking at things near and dear to our heart. And obviously we look at the entire season and we see, guys that have had really strong years. Swayze having a great year.
Yep.
Kenny Two Names doing well.
Kenny Two Names
Goody
strong.
Goody and Lukac both strong. Piston Hondras has really turned it on. So has Nelly. Smock and Ole have been consistent.
You know what
in
I
that
like
starting
about
lineup. All
can I tap in here for a second? You know what I like about Piston Hondras? Every time I pull up the website and I see a picture of him like play, he's dirty. Like he's got a dirty uni and he's an outfielder, right? Which tells me like, he's stretching leads, he's taking bases, like dude's filthy. every time I see him in a uniform, and I just appreciate that in a player.
But could he be nicknamed Piston Honduras if he was clean?
Oh, that's
I
a pretty
don't. I
clean
don't know that you
nickname.
can roll like that. It's a clean nickname, but it's not for a clean uni.
That's true. It's for
You
a
can't
hard
tell
worker,
me
right?
the dude from Mike Tyson's Punch Out. That dude wasn't clean.
Oh no, no, he was a bad
So
guy
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. We need you got to be playing in the dirt a little bit
Yeah, for
if you're a
sure.
Piston Honduras.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
but anyhow, yeah. Scotty says get back on track here.
Sorry,
Um,
Scott.
so we've had our mainstays in the lineup all year long. You know, guys having some really solid years. But being that the show is called Pine Stars, what's near and dear to our heart is when guys actually get off the pine.
Yep.
Because we remember that. You know, sometimes, yeah, sure. Sometimes you're bundled up in two coats. You're all warm. You don't want to go anywhere. But every now and then you lose the coats and you got to get out there. Um, so a couple of guys that we're seeing getting some more time. First, Brett Perry, seeing a little bit more time now, along with Brayton Bowen. Again, Pine Stars. We're looking for stars that also like to sit comfortably during the game.
Mhm.
So we're gonna throw these two guys out there this week. Give them a
Well,
shot.
let's talk about that for a second because and Kurt, jump in anytime you feel like the time is right. I don't want to, get you in your 3-2-1 dance, up along the railing or anything, but um, you know, talk about the level of athlete that it takes to be able to just be sitting down, resting, and then jump into high performing action at the snap of a finger. Like, that's so underestimated. And like the fact that these guys that are starters go out there and they get the warm-ups and then they get to go right from warming up into playing. Not that hard, fellas. Come sit on the bench for an hour and a half and then try to go up there and face 93 and tell me it's easy. Okay? So, I mean, I'm just making a case. I'm just making a case. That's all I'm doing.
I
No,
agree.
understood.
And
And
that's the hardest thing to do. I mean, coming off the bench and taking off those warm layers. I mean, I would turn around. I feel like I would be leaving you guys behind, right? Like I felt bad for you guys. Like it was like part of my heart that was
yeah,
broken,
Yeah.
right?
no,
Like
that's exactly right. I mean, that's like seeing your kid off to their first day of kindergarten. You're proud and you're sad.
yeah,
You
Yeah.
know, it
you're
was a big
sad to
day.
go on the bench. It's kind of sad. Like why did I get to go?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those where, yeah, you'd go and look at the lineup card, knowing, just to see like, okay, which order, where do I need to stand for the first hitter kind of deal. But then when you saw one of your fellow stars names in the lineup card, it was kind of like, it's like melancholy, right? Like super excited, but for them, but at the same time, you're like, oh, like he
But
should be here.
wasn't there? Weren't you also a little worried about now one of these starters is going to come over here and just think they can sit with us?
Oh, geez. Don't get me
Like
started.
you haven't earned it.
Don't.
You don't even get comfortable.
You're
no,
not faking.
we had our spot on the fence, right? That was our spot.
Yeah,
They had other places they could go, right? They
sure.
they they knew
That's
they knew their place in line.
Not my fault that you're not in your place on the field anymore. Okay. Just don't come and take my space.
And I didn't like having to tell people like what to do when it was a 2-2 count, right? Or a 3-2. I didn't want to
Right.
tell you. Like
I don't have
this
time
is
to
a
explain
warm.
it.
You don't know. We didn't have time for that.
So, anyway, we've got Brayton Bowen and we've got Brett Perry. So, I am going to go with Brett Perry. No, 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 no. I'm going to go with Brayton Bowen. I'm sorry, I got him flipped. I'm going to go with Brayton Bowen, first baseman out of Lebanon, Indiana. Looking at a nickname for this young man being he's left-handed, hits lefty, throws lefty, hits lefty. The Lebanese lefty. The Lebanese lefty. How you
Yeah, it
feel
just
about
rolls
that?
off the tongue.
It's just I think you're gonna hear it out of the dugout.
It's going to catch fire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to do wonders for international relations. I can't wait.
Well, you know.
It all started here.
All right, so what you got on Brett
But
Perry?
but Brad, hold on. Now, well, before you move on, you had a backup option teed up.
Oh yeah, I did, just in case. Because I started going down when I'm like doing the nickname thing, and I'm like, okay, Brett Bowen, bow and arrow, archery. Okay, so I started looking up like what are archery slang terms. The This is when the hunter makes the best possible shot on their target. They'll often say that they mollywopped it. So mollywop would be my other option for Brayton Bowen. The
That
Right,
really
WP,
rolls
because
off the tongue, Brian.
WP's not even right. The MW doesn't sound good either. There's nothing there. But I just like mollywopped. Molly, even.
yeah, if you know, he doesn't stop at first base ever. When he gets
Oh,
hits,
no.
he's moving on.
No, he's rolling Molly. That's what he's doing. He's rolling right past first.
Yeah. No, and why stop there? Just keep rolling. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
four hits on
70s
the year, three
lefty,
doubles and a home run.
Molly whopped, Molly, whatever.
What you got on
You're
Brett
really
Perry?
offering him a yeah. So Brett, this nickname really is the brainchild of our guest. So I'll tee it up, but I'm going to let him hit. So um, Brett getting some more time here as of late, getting on the field. Freshman, playing second base from Seymour, Indiana, and also Kurt. What also is Seymour known as?
For the Owls.
Yeah, but what's the other name for the city?
You go to see more to see less. Brian Remke had a girlfriend from Seymour, and we hated going down there because there was nothing to see. Nothing at all. Miserable.
Nope. After you had those couple of beers at the Legion, that was it.
That's it. That and the meth lab right down
Um,
the street.
um, but yeah, so for Brett being a Seymour kid, Kurt, you want to take this for one of the proud owls of Seymour, Indiana?
I'd be obliged to. Thanks for allowing me to do this one. So with them being the Owls, right? What better nickname than Hoot? It's a Hoot Owl.
I I love it.
Nickname Hoot.
Con Hoot.
Hoot.
Oh, just hearing that out of on the rail.
Hoot, hoot.
Ah, yeah.
I mean, coming from the dugout, just a bunch of hooting and hollering.
Oh, hooting and
Oh,
hollering.
buddy.
5 stars, episode 7. Hooting and hollering.
Hooting and hollering.
All right, Kurt.
Love it.
Kurt, looking at you, thinking about okay, who you feeling like is a good click to pick here this weekend?
Well, I have two. I know one's already been picked.
Sure,
So I'm
go
going to give
for
you the
it.
one that's already been picked. But
Yeah,
with the year end of the year coming, right? Ninth in the rankings right now. You need a lot of you need some oomph, right? So Cole Hampton, guy's been on an absolute tear lately, just ripping the cover off the ball. I think he's got 10 or maybe 11 home runs down on the season. Leads the
shit.
team.
Damn.
Guy's been crushing it. I think over the past 6, 7 games, I think he's damn near homer in almost every one of them. So
Yeah.
that's my pick to click for the rest of the year to get the old Hounds over the hump to get in the regionals and get another trip back to Cary, North Carolina. Now, my sleeper, love this guy, Ian Kennedy.
He's
Guy
a big
6'4",
dude.
225, just a men amongst boys. Played at University of Michigan, was the number one, I think, first baseman out of Georgia a couple years back, come out of high school. Can rip the absolute cover off the ball.
Yeah,
Guy's got a pretty good pedigree in his family, too. I think his cousin plays for the Miami Dolphins, right?
yeah,
The guy's an
yeah.
athlete.
Right.
So, I mean, get that guy swinging the bat. I think that could be a sleeper click to pick or pick to click.
Yeah, imagine that like coming up in the 6 hole.
Yeah. So I know
Hit
I'm
him
a
in that
guest
big.
on this show, so I can do whatever the hell I want. So I gave you two today.
I like it. We're gonna take 2. Um, and we've got a couple minutes here left, so I just wanted to get because I've heard you guys reference this multiple times, and I just don't recall this story. Can you kind of close us out here with, can you tell the Golden Spikes story? Or is that something that you
Yeah,
can't tell?
so it kind of it's all lumped into the whole cinnamony story too. So basically all in one, right? You're getting two stories for one.
Okay.
So being a freshman, well, I don't know, it might have been a sophomore, I don't know. I come rolling the dugout. I think we had to be there at 8 o'clock. I get there at 7 o'clock in the morning. I stopped at Burger King, got my 4-pack of Cinnaminis, nice and warm, my hash browns, and I'm eating Cinnaminis in the dugout, right?
Uh-huh.
Nobody's even there. Coach rolls in, jumps in my shit for eating Cinnaminis in the dugout an hour before we even had to be at the game.
Games
And
at
on top of
noon.
that, yeah, I'm just trying to get some energy to do what I need to do from the pine. So I was kicked out of the dugout. Nobody was even in there. I had to eat my Cinnaminis outside the dugout. And on top of that, we had black cleats that year, right, with the white Nike logo.
Yep.
Hey, I went ahead and colored in my Nike swoosh, the white. I made them gold.
That's right.
That was a
That's
no-no,
right.
apparently. Apparently that was a no-no. So as I'm being kicked out of the dugout an hour before I have to be there to eat my Cinnaminis, I'm getting reamed a new asshole for painting my cleats gold, the white swoosh gold on my cleats. I mean, I had a target on my back, guys. I had a target. They had cleats every saw the field.
Eating my Cinnaminis in the dugout. Oh man, that's great.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, that brings me to one quick thing. So, I went out this weekend or last week to Franklin Central came over and played Avon, and I live out in Danville. So, I went over to that game. Vaught's coaching at Franklin Central, and I swing over to the dugout and I see him and I start talking to him, and he's references something and he's talking about something. He said, "Hey, did you text me about like going out to lunch and talking about something?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Like after we met at the dinner thing, yeah, we talked about it." And he goes, "Okay, I thought that was you." And I said, "Wait a second. We texted back and forth for like 4 days. And like you were part of the conversation and you didn't know who you were talking to and you agreed to go to lunch with me?" And he's like,
You're
I wasn't
paying.
gonna. He goes, "Well, I wasn't gonna fucking show up. I was just gonna." And I was like, "You're just inviting people are sitting at tables in restaurants somewhere waiting for him to show up to lunch. He doesn't even know it." Oh, anyway. So, all right, as we close out here, we've got a big 4 game series coming up with William Jewell. Best of luck to you boys. Really, really hope you guys come out swinging. Our picks to click, I'm sorry, our clicks to pick are going to go off. We know it. And the guys that have been pulling the wagon and doing their thing all year are going to continue doing that. Get this ball rolling towards the end of the season. Any final comments? Those are my final thoughts. So I'll let you guys kind of close it out.
Yeah, no, much the same. Big 4 game series this weekend will be huge. If they can go in there and get 3 or 4. But yeah, nice couple pickup wins here midweek. So feel really good about the nicknames this week, and I say that as I didn't come up with either one this week. Um, so I think a couple of strong nicknames. I think we're gonna get some strong pitching out of Snow and the Chef. I feel like they're gonna get us some starts.
Yeah.
Frankie Clem and the Kitchen Sink have been picking up some big innings.
Yeah.
So Johnny Holstaff had one game going. So
Well, and this,
yeah,
sorry,
I
I
mean
said I was
we're
done.
trending on the right side. So
Sorry.
it's a shocker.
Well, I said I was done, but we kind of referenced this too. Like, it's getting towards late in the season. This is where guys that have been on the pine start to kind of step up and have to come up and take critical roles, you know? Been a long season for some of these guys. So
Which is why we're here.
that's why we're
Those
here.
are our people.
Kurt, any
Now,
final
for me,
thoughts?
my final thoughts. Hey, it was good to get 2 midweek game wins, right? This series is very important right now, right? Going against a bottom dweller in the conference, can't take him easy, right? So you can't look ahead to Lewis either. But you handle these next two series conference, you kind of write your own ticket. Need a little help from the top, but you got to do what you got to do. So come out and roll and let the cards fall where they fall.
All right, gentlemen. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for coming out, Kurt.
Man, I got that text to come on this show, and I took off work all week to prepare for this show. I did. I didn't put an official PTO by any means, but my company doesn't know. Hopefully nobody sees it. But I prepared nonstop.
Nobody's going to see this.
I can't. I was just happy to be here.
All right. See you, fellas.
See you guys.